Because I like his policies way better than Kamala's.
Kamala's? Why do you like Donald
All
Trump?
of the executive orders he's signed,
Which
you know.
ones?
Did you even watch the what do they call it? The joint.
Yep, I reacted to it on YouTube. Which ones? Which executive
Well,
orders?
well, no more funding to the Gaza or the Hamas
No more funding to. We never gave funding
to
to.
Hamas, yes,
We never gave funding to Hamas.
or Ukraine, either one.
Okay? Well,
We're gonna set up
it's good.
shop in Gaza.
It's good to give money to Ukraine to help defend them from Russia, and we never gave money to Hamas. I don't know where you got that idea from.
Well, where is what has Ukraine even done in return?
I
Have they even
I
thanked us?
I have a
They haven't even thanked us.
I have a question. Could you point out where Ukraine is on a map?
Yes, it's a peninsula, pretty much
Can
like
you name
Florida.
can you name it's a peninsula? To be fair, Ukraine does have a peninsula like within it. Like Crimea is a peninsula now. At the time of the invasion, now that wasn't a part of Ukraine anymore, so they didn't have a peninsula. But this reasoning is like saying Florida, because it's a peninsula, means that the United States as a whole is a peninsula. Like what? Can you name two countries that border Ukraine?
Well, two European countries, they're Middle Eastern countries that could easily take over Ukraine, just like back in 1979 when Jimmy Carter was president, and
Hey,
when we were funding
Hey,
for the
Rob.
war in supporting
Hey,
Afghanistan, and
Rob.
they used our weapons against us.
Hey, Rob. Can you name two countries that border Ukraine?
What the heck does this have to do with anything? Why do you even care? I mean, what are you trying to prove here?
Can you name one country that borders Ukraine?
Russia.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take.
Okay, thank you for accepting my answer. For God's sakes, I mean, come on.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're keeping women or men out of women's sports.
Okay. So you don't
We
think?
have cut off
Can I ask you a
DU
question?
or
DUI?
DEI,
Apparently, we have not cut off DUI. So okay,
and now
hold up, Rob. Rob, can you let me address them real quick? Is that fine?
yes, go ahead and speak up.
Okay. All right. So you said we cut off DEI. We didn't cut off the Electoral College.
No, I said DEI.
Yeah, that's the Electoral College.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. The Electoral College is DEI. It's diversity and equity and inclusion for smaller states because it gives extra points to states for diversity and equity and inclusion of them.
You're making some stuff up, dude.
Can you tell me how many people are in the Senate?
I don't. There's a person from every state, so
No,
there's
there's two people from every state.
100 people,
Yep.
just like I said.
There you go. You got it. You got it.
But what are you trying to? Are you trying to talk to me about the real issues here, or are you trying to
Yeah, we'll talk about the real issues.
ask me random stuff?
Well, we can talk about the real issues. Let's talk about that. Are you okay? You ready?
Yeah, a real issue for you is probably different for me.
What's Donald Trump's healthcare policy?
Do what?
What's Donald Trump's healthcare policy?
What's his healthcare policy?
Mm-hmm.
Is do away with anything in the public sector and turn it to the private sector.
So get rid of
and
Medicare.
Get your own health insurance.
So get rid of Medicare.
Yes, get rid of Medicare, get rid of Medicaid, and be your own person.
Okay. Get rid of Social Security.
Yes, there are people collecting Social Security that are over 150 years old.
You think that?
And get rid of funding
Oh,
transgender
hold on, Rob,
operations on mice.
Rob. That's not true. Okay. There's no transgender operations on mice. What you're
Are,
referencing is transgenic. Donald Trump just misspoke and said transgender when it actually was transgenic. And I just played a
what the
video
heck is a
for
transgenic?
yeah, and it's to help study like diseases because it makes the mice tissue act more human-like. That makes sense. So we can see how humans would respond to it, biologically speaking. Sean, think
Okay,
of the
yeah, that's
tendency.
a word you made up. I don't know
No, I
what you're
didn't. I
talking about.
didn't. You can read about this on the internet. Look up. Here, actually, do you want me to just play it? Actually, okay. Y'all ready? Instruction of foreign DNA into the mouse germ line is considered a major technological advancement in the fields of developmental biology and genetics. This technology is now referred to as transgenic mouse technology, has revolutionized virtually all fields of biology and provided new genetic approaches to model many human diseases in whole animal context. Okay, that's really cool. That's really cool. So it's like it's specifically to like understand like diseases, like the impact of human diseases. Chris, did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yeah, I did.
Why so?
Could I switch up the formula a little bit? Is it cool if I ask why you voted for Kamala?
Kamala, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Well, because it is the case that she influenced to get passed the most policy out of any vice president in the history of vice presidents ever, the most tie-breaking votes of any vice president ever, including things like the Inflation Reduction Act, which had the largest investment in renewable energy ever, and the $35 cap on insulin for people on Medicare. She also had the bipartisan. She influenced the capacity bipartisan infrastructure bill, Chips and Science Act, and PACT Act, and then also literally got $5 billion raised for private funds to reduce the likelihood of people coming here from the Central American countries, right? And it is the case that during the migrant crisis, and then also she had like large accredited history, had plenty of qualifications in terms of again vice presidency, senator, prosecutor, district attorney, right? And plenty other things as well. So like I think that like she actually had like an accredited history and had policies that she ran on and passed that I think were good. She compromised. Those things are good. Whereas I didn't really see much from the context of Donald Trump.
Okay, cool. Could I ask your opinions on Doge?
I like looking for governmental waste and inefficiencies, but I don't think people like Elon Musk are going to be the ones to do it. And Donald Trump, if you would have wanted to limit waste, you would have voted against Donald Trump because he signed off on more debt-related spending.
You're talking about during his previous term?
Yes,
Okay.
and his campaign plans for his next administration. Can you name me a reason why you voted for Donald Trump?
I think the main reason is really just I like the idea of Doge was one of the bigger points that pulled me towards voting for him. I don't know if its current execution is, fully fleshed out, but one of the biggest gripes I always had was, I'm paying all of these taxes, federal, state, and if you compare it to when America was first formed, you know, I think they rebelled over, I think it was 2% total income tax back
Okay,
in the day versus
did they
today.
have Medicare? Did they have Medicaid? Did they have Social Security? Did they have any of the amenities we have today? No, they didn't.
No,
If
they
they didn't
didn't.
have any of those amenities, why would we compare what life was like for people in the 1700s to people now when we have internet, society, livelihood that to a different degree than they have?
Well, the main point I'm
Than
really
they
trying
have?
to make, no, that's a fair point. I'm saying that I feel like there's overtaxation now, and I think
There's
the
overtaxation.
top,
Okay, why? What? How are we overtaxed?
well, depending on what bracket you're in, you're looking at almost half of your income going straight into taxes.
For like very small portions of people, you're not paying 50% unless you're making a lot.
I personally pay around 33%.
That's nowhere near 50%.
Yeah, I'm not saying that for me personally.
17% a difference.
I'm not saying for me personally it's 50%, but 33% is still pretty high.
Okay. So
My
you think
main
33% is too much? What is a good
yes.
percent?
It's not that so much what is a good percent is what I'm looking for. It's I was always looking for I would be fine with paying whatever amount in taxes if I knew exactly what my taxes were being spent on.
Okay. So you
And
want
so I
more
was always
government you want government to like not lie to you and to be more transparent.
correct.
Why did you
So
vote for Donald Trump, who's like the least transparent, most likely to lie?
well, I don't necessarily think that he is the most transparent person. I'm saying from the perspective of if I had like a balance sheet of this is what all of your taxes went towards, these were all of the organizations and stuff like that, I would have an easier time digesting it. And I think Doge in its current practice is still not as transparent as I would like. But I do like the idea of how now in especially in media and stuff, it's being discussed more about, oh, we were spending on this much, and there's a little bit more transparency. I feel like those subjects weren't really being talked about 4 years ago.
We were talking about governmental transparency. I think that like Donald Trump lying repeatedly all the time has actually reduced those types of conversations because it is the case that we're so busy talking about all the insane, unhinged things Donald Trump is doing that we're not even able to talk about like those different types of conversations about like, oh, let's do a public option. Oh, let's make everything more transparent. Oh, let's actually undermine like the establishment because Donald Trump is portraying himself as anti-establishment while he's also doing everything to uphold everything that people have wrong with the establishment, like all of the corporate sort of influence, the oligarchic like sort of influence that corporations have over our political system is exactly what Donald Trump is looking for and extending and making worse. So like everything that people who are anti-establishment are voting for Donald Trump for is just completely going to be lost out on. He said he's
Could you give
draining
me
the
a couple?
swamp. No, he's not draining the swamp. He's putting MAGA individuals in there and he's kicking anyone out who doesn't agree with his positions.
Are you referencing the what happened the other night with him
Um,
kicking out the?
I wasn't
the
specifically referencing that, but like you can also say that like that didn't happen at the State of the Union for Biden. Biden, plenty of people interrupted, huge portion of Republicans interrupted, and he would engage in back and forth with them. He didn't kick out the first person he interrupted.
okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your insight.
Okay, appreciate you. NATO.
Do you think NATO exists outside of us saying that we're going to pull out?
I think the U.S.
Well,
is still in NATO. Do you think the U.S. is in NATO?
I don't think they are. I think that's the next step that's going to
You
happen.
think the U.S. is not in NATO?
Do you understand what NATO is?
Yes. Can you tell me what NATO stands
North
for?
North American Trade Ordinance. Yes. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know. I hope you do. This is fun.
It's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It's just so again in terms of this like clearly I think that we need to be a part of NATO because NATO is about containing Russia, okay? If it's about containing Russia, right? Then I don't understand how we would contain Russia by giving them more power.
Okay, how have we given them power?
By Donald Trump saying he wants to like allow them to take parts of Ukraine without giving Ukraine particularly like a way to ensure that they're not going to be invaded by Russia, i.e., allowing them either to join NATO and or continue to fight their self defense against Russia, illegally trying to invade and annex their territory.
Okay, here's the way I see it, and you can see this entirely different. You're going to probably hate any simile I make, but you see two kids playing in a sandbox. They're fighting. They're throwing sand in each other's eyes. You're the parent of one of these children. You could be if you wanted to be, because you have the power. You're just an adult and you're in charge of the situation, whatever it comes to be. These two kids throwing sand in each other's eyes, you're going to feel the need to be like, hey, let's not do that, right? And then one of the kids says, I need 40, 80, $85 billion in 1 year. Sequentially. What are you going to do? You're not going to give the kid $80 billion. You're going to say, quit throwing sand in your eyes when you're a delegate that makes sense. And with Biden, yeah, we gave him $85 billion. A trillion, whatever.
85 trillion?
But here we are.
You think we gave Ukraine $85 trillion?
No, not directly. You got washed back, actually. Half of it. So, like 70% of it.
So you think we gave like 70% of 85 trillion?
No, I think we gave the full amount. It got washed back, which means
85
people.
Trillion.
Okay, so I'm going to agree to give you $100,000.
How much money?
You're going to agree to pay me back $30,000.
No, hold up. How much money?
That means you get 70, I get 30. You know how washing money works?
I understand. How much money do you think that we gave Ukraine?
It was probably around $45 billion.
45 billion?
In one, yeah.
Billion or trillion?
Billion.
Okay, so we gave them more than.
It's probably around $1 trillion altogether.
Mm.
I mean, dude, don't get mad at me. Look at the numbers. We'll argue it, and we'll find out the truth.
You're saying 40 billion, and then you're saying now $1 trillion. No, we did not give $1 trillion. Okay.
I said it was 40, and it was 40, and then it's been a lot of 40s. I mean, you go to the 40 at the gas station. You drink a few of them a week. You drink $1 billion. Let's make it a thing.
In terms of Ukraine, it's 175 to 200 billion. In terms of like the overall money like spent on Ukraine, not all of that went directly to the Ukrainian government, but around 175 to 200 billion. That's one thing. So it's clearly not $1 trillion. Secondly, that's like around 1/32 of the overall military spending under the Biden-Harris administration. So like I don't know why you'd care about specifically like a few percentage points, right? Rather than like the overall military budget.
So it's less than $1 billion. You can agree with that?
What?
You agreed that it's less than a trillion. It's how many billion?
It's less than $1 trillion. Yes, it's like 175 billion to 200.
So here we are, disagreeing on a number that neither of you or I will ever make in our lifetime. For what? For something that doesn't have to happen. For a country that has no benefit to us. They're corrupt as can be. And
do you know what the Budapest Memorandum is?
I know the fact that Ukraine has the highest number of hitmen coming out of there because I've actually looked into the black market. I know how Tor browsers work.
Do you know what the Budapest Memorandum is?
Budapest what? Mariah?
Do you know what the Budapest Memorandum is?
I don't know all the paperwork, no.
So we signed an agreement with Ukraine that if they gave up their nuclear weapons, that we would defend them if Russia were to invade. Russia signed that agreement.
And you don't think they should have? You don't think a corrupt government needs to give up their nuclear warheads?
Do you think that we should have defended them, given that we signed that agreement?
Do you think Ukraine is not corrupt? Do you think that you're hearing the truth when you hear their prime minister? I mean,
how is Ukraine corrupt?
Do you realize that they have the highest amount of black market activity of any country in the world? You don't, because you don't look into that.
What's your source for that?
I can tell you the fact that I can use a Tor browser. I can hire them to do it.
What's your source?
The Tor browser.
No,
the black market.
I want a source. I don't want you to. I don't go in the black market.
The fact that go on it if you want it. You don't have to. It's not illegal to look at it. It's illegal to order. I've been there. I've been on it. It is there, and there's you can hire Ukrainian hitmen for $80,000. I promise. Don't believe me? Do it. Look it up. I've looked it up.
Is this supposed to like convince me that like we shouldn't help Ukraine
there's
defend
no
themselves?
No,
is this supposed to
no
is this supposed to convince me?
I've seen your videos.
Is this supposed to convince me that we're like not supposed to like defend Ukraine from Russia like illegally like invading and trying to annex their territory? Like even if this were true, like what country has the highest level of black market activity? The United States of No! No! Oh no! Oh no! In Russia? Oh no!
You good? No, you good?
Wait, Ukraine isn't even on the top 10.
Yeah, it's not. Right.
Why'd you make that
It's
up?
not gonna be. Because you're looking at numbers you don't understand. You're not there. I want you to look at the highest number of military weapons ever sold to a country that they don't own.
Hey,
You can't find it.
What should I be
You
looking
can't
at?
find these.
What should I be looking at?
The highest numbers of military weapons ever sold to a country within 1 year from another country. You won't find it. There are not ledgers of this. You won't find it. They're hiding it. I mean, do you think Google's going to show you that Ukraine has funneled billions of dollars out of your pocket and your pockets of your neighbors? No, they're not
You know
going
what?
to.
I think
You're too dumb to understand that.
I think Donald Trump is funneling through the black market money to reptilians.
Okay.
Like I know you're not
yeah,
gonna see
sure.
it. There's not gonna be any evidence of it anywhere, and you're
Well,
stupid if you don't
I
believe
might,
it.
I might be stupid to say that you don't
Yeah,
funnel
you know you
money to reptilians yourself. That's
me.
the